everyone and welcome to another episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today I'm going to be giving you my review of A Quiet Place. Now if you want to come up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as always my videos, this review may include spoilers, so you have now been warned. So before we jump into this review, I do have a little public service announcement slash cautionary tale slash words of warning to you guys that are going to go and see this movie and experience it in the cinema. Is be prepared and also be respectful. This kind of is a blanket statement to everybody, is please be respectful, not only to this movie but to also other moviegoers and other cinema goers that are in that movie theatre with you, because I didn't have the best experience for the first half of this movie. My main issue with my cinema experience, and I can imagine a lot of people may have had this, and it was a really awkward one for me, is that for nearly half of this movie, the lady sat next to me and her mum and her friend decided to have a conversation about the film whilst that we were watching the film. They would kind of, you know, that running commentary of like, oh, I can't believe he's going to do that. Oh no, that's going to come. Like that sort of thing. And I just thought it was just so disrespectful to, as I say, not only to myself, to themselves and to the movie itself. It was like there was nobody else doing this. For a lot of you people, if you're watching this in the UK, like, just for context, there was so many chavs in this movie theatre and even they were respectful. It was just these two bloody middle-aged women, and it wasn't until I finally plucked up the courage and grew a pair of bollocks that I actually told them to be quiet, and they laughed in my face, which was even more annoying. So basically this massive tangent is to say is please be respectful, not only to this movie, to other cinema goers. You can take popcorn in if you want, but I advise against it. But please, for the love of God, do not get your phones out and do not talk in this movie, because it deserves damn respect. So anyway, take away that little rant from this review. Let's jump straight into it now after like 2 minutes of rambling, and I bloody loved it. What an amazing movie A Quiet Place is. It was phenomenal. It is, I don't want to say it's game-changing, but maybe after a second viewing it very well could be. It was so damn intense, and what I really loved about this movie is that you were instantly hooked. You are instantly invested in this story. Something very, very tragic happens in the film's opening sequence. I don't want to spoil that for you, but you're instantly invested not only in these characters, in this story. You want to see where it's heading, and that was brilliant for, as I say, a movie that doesn't have any talking in it. To get you that hooked and that invested that quick was phenomenal. Another great thing about this film is the intensity, and how the intensity just grew and grew, and the suspense was just elevated scene after scene, sequence after sequence. And for me, like, the last 40 minutes of this movie is some of the best I've ever seen in suspense horror filmmaking. It just elevated and then elevated some more, and just when I thought it was all said and done, it elevated even more, and that was what's so good about this film. From the bathroom sequence onwards was incredible. Again, I don't want to spoil a lot of that for you. There is one little thing I think I can talk about, and it just made me wince in pain, and it was almost like this is the moment I fell in love with this movie and I realised how invested I was in every single character. And that is where Emily Blunt's character is walking down the stairs, and for those of you that have seen the movie know what I'm going to say here, is that she stands on a nail, and I just felt the pain for her, because I realised how much danger she was in, and realised that that's what she couldn't do, and it was just like, ugh. It was like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? It was amazing. I just thought, imagine like in the real world that you couldn't stand on a plug and make a noise. It would just be so bad. But yeah, so incredible. Like the horror and the suspense and the way everything was like built up, all of that horror and suspense was just so great. And don't get me wrong, yes, this is inherently a horror movie and a suspenseful horror movie, but it has a real heart to it, and there are some genuinely quite poignant scenes in this movie as well, especially towards the film's final act. There is something that happens that is very, very impactful, I thought, and it really grounds this film and gave it that really sharp emotional edge, which I didn't expect, and again, I loved it, as you can tell. Obviously, a movie called The Quiet Place, I thought the sound was brilliant, and the lack of sound was really well executed as well. I really loved what they did with the daughter who's deaf. every time it was kind of shot from her perspective, they just totally took out the soundtrack and it was just pure radio silence, and it was so impactful. And that's kind of my only negative I have about the sound, is that it was great, but they did use a lot of soundtrack in this movie, a lot of like kind of really slow, like distilled music. And I think if they took that out and just completely had a lot of this with just the natural sounds or pure silence, it really could have elevated this movie even more to what it already was. But that's more of a personal thing, because I think it works so well having the silence. So yeah, that was just kind of a personal thing for me. I really liked as well that for how short this movie is, it really packs a punch and it really fits everything in. It didn't feel like anything was rushed. It felt like it told a really great story, and it was a really great horror movie. I thought the ending was perfect for a film like this. In other instances, I probably may have been disappointed with that outcome and what does happen, but I think the way that it all wraps up and leaves it like really not ambiguous, but kind of leaves it where it does leave it, was really great, and it really kind of elevated my enjoyment of the film, because as soon as the movie finished, I just had a big smile on my face, because I thought, what a great way to end this movie. And I want to throw this question out to you guys. Would you like to kind of see a Quiet Place franchise spawn from this? There is a little scene in this movie where John Krasinski's character sets fire to... He sets up a fire on top of the corn stores, and a lot of other fires kind of break out around them. And I thought that was quite cool that they kept this sense of community but didn't really allude to it any more than that one scene in the woods. But yeah, I think I really would like to see where this story could go and where you could expand it with other Quiet Place sequels. But that being said, I want to put on my tinfoil hat here and throw out a conspiracy theory that I have kind of seen little bits floating around online, but after watching this movie, I've kind of convinced myself that it's true. But no, before I do it, like, this is going to be like not spoiler talk, but conspiracy talk. So if you don't want to like know what I'm going to be talking about, maybe skip ahead a little bit. But do you guys think that this may be related to Cloverfield in some way? Because those monsters look very, very similar to the Cloverfield monster. I know they were scaled down a lot, but they look damn mighty similar. They also looked a little like Demogorgons as well, but they just really look like a mutated version of the Cloverfield monster. I think there may be some tie in there. I really want there to be, because it looked great, and if it is, then it's amazing if they've made like another Cloverfield spin-off in secret. So I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on that. Do you think there is a Cloverfield tie-in to this movie or not? Let me know down in the comments below. And that being said, that is my review of A Quiet Place. I think this one is definitely going to creep up on my top 10 list this year. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant, a great directional and writing debut from John Krasinski. As I say, my only downside was nothing to do with the film. It was actually the cinema experience I had. And I think I'm totally going to go and see this movie again, maybe when it's coming towards the end of its run, where it's a little bit more quiet in the theatre. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, this film. I can't recommend it enough. It delivered and then some. So if you guys have seen A Quiet Place, let me know what you thought about it down in those comments below. And if you did enjoy this video and you want to keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the very next episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. Ta-ra!